Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move! James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What up? What up? Welcome back to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name is Nick Engvall. I'm with my guys, Robbie and Mike, to talk some kicks. We've got some legendary stuff to talk about tonight. So I hope you guys are ready. This is going to be I can already tell this is going to be one of my most favorite episodes that we've ever done. So How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. It's official now. My hair and my beard are completely out of control. So before I step into the real world at whatever point, I need to see a barber first thing.
Yeah. I cut my ears myself today. I'm like, well, fuck it. No one's going to see me. And it looks better than like it looking really bad. And I shaved in a porno mustache. So it's like,
nice.
I didn't shave for like 2 months. Even before this all happened, I don't shave a lot. I don't care. My work doesn't care. Nobody cares. So like I had this really thick mustache, and I'm just excited to talk about the GOAT and Michael Jordan. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. I also am, I did the experimental haircut situation. I had ordered clippers a few months back, and my girlfriend, who just started a YouTube channel, you should go check her out if you or your girl is into makeup, definitely. Cameron Day Beauty. But anyway, she cut my hair, and let's just say that's a part of her repertoire that needs some help. I feel like one of those, when we were little kids, we didn't have money to go get haircuts. So mom just, put the bowl on her head and literally shaved around the bottom of our head. So I feel like I'm like 6 years old right now with my haircut, but I have been toying with the idea of just like saying, F it, go with a mohawk again. Cause I had a mohawk like 10 years ago when the Giants were in the World Series, and I am not seeing anybody, and I'm wearing a hat most of the time anyway. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I saw somebody that was donating money too. for mohawks. That's what started the thought process. So something along the lines of like, if you shave a mohawk at home, they'll donate like $100 to like, the pandemic response or whatever, the first frontline people. So kind of
respectable.
Before we pivot off of this topic, this is the only time this story will ever make sense. So my clippers for my hair are cat clippers because might have gotten a little messed up one day and went and bought some cat clippers to shave my cat like a while ago. And it took like 2 hours to shave a cat. It was summertime. There was alcohol. We're just like, she can't feel, she has to be hot in that fur. Okay. So like, so 2 hours of shaving the cat. The clippers were like 150 degrees, burning my hand. It took so long. So we have those still. So I can trim my hair.
Oh my gosh.
The cat was not happy.
I hate you. That's all.
Oh my gosh. What? I mean, I can't be the only one listening to this thinking it doesn't surprise me that Robbie has cat clippers to cut his own hair.
Oh no, I wasn't surprised. I'm more surprised he actually used them.
It was a one-time thing. It was a one-time shave, and I was like, nah, that was definitely, it's like a drunk idea that never did.
Do you have any pictures of?
No, I actually, maybe somewhere, but I didn't. Yeah, didn't have that kind of thought to do it for the gram. I really tried to do it for the cat. It just kind of backfired.
So I'll add one more, drinking summer bad decision story. It's kind of 2 in 1, but I lived with a couple of my like really good friends, and like, we just like all went in on a massive house at one point. This is like 15 plus years ago, but like one day we're all just kind of chilling at the house, drinking and just hanging out. Like we literally had like 2 living rooms. And so we had like one living room that was like attached to the kitchen that we like, watched the TV in. And then the other one was kind of just like, it was chill. Like we had like, I think for a while we had a foosball table in there, and then we had like a treadmill in there. And it was just kind of like, like you can go take phone calls in there while everybody's chilling in the other. And so I think my brother is living with us at that time, or he had come over, and he has not always, but for quite a while, he had like pet rats. And my other roommate, my friend Mike, has he's always had schnauzers. So my brother, like at some point decides like to like bring his rat out, and he's holding on to his rat. The dog is kind of like chilling right below his feet, and we're like, all talking or whatever. And all of a sudden, like I don't know how, but somehow the rat ends up on the floor. And it was like this, like instant, like fear and chaos. And we're all like, oh my God, this is it. Right. So the rat's name was Turbo. His predecessor was Splinter.
Classic.
Anyway, like that part like actually turned out okay, right? We held the dog and like got the rat, put him back in his cage. He was fine. And then, time progresses, alcohol is flowing a little bit more, and I obviously skateboard to get around most of the time, especially when this is in Sacramento, and living in Sacramento, it's flat. Like you can get around just about anywhere on a skateboard pretty easily. And so one of my buddies is like, I forget whose idea it was originally, but essentially we ended up with a skateboard on the treadmill. And
oh no,
one of my friends who, Errol, who doesn't skate, but he's, relatively athletic, like good shape. He gets on and he's like riding the skateboard on the treadmill all the way up to like the max of 12 miles an hour or whatever, 12 or 15, whatever it is. And of course that means that everybody's got to try it. Right. So I get on and, I'm all right. It was like trying to do like, I wasn't trying to do tricks or anything, but I'm trying to like, just like pop the front wheel up, or maybe like, like pop the back wheel up and nose grind a little bit on the treadmill. It didn't work very well. I ate shit and like still have scars on my ankle from the treadmill, like burning me. But that's not even the best part of the story. The best part is my friend Mike gets on, and he is he's not like a skateboard. He doesn't skateboard the way I do, but he was like big into longboards at the time, and he had like like use that to get around town and stuff. And so it's a different kind of skill set, right? Mm-hmm. So Mike gets on, and of course, it's like starts out slow. It's like, oh, I got this. Speed it up. Next thing you know, he's at the max too. And all of a sudden he like loses his balance, and like he hits the treadmill, the skateboard goes flying and literally just goes dunk and sticks in the wall.
What was happening here?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those, this is pre like YouTube or anything like that. But I just think, damn, if we had a camera, that would have been one of the craziest. It was so
viral
funny,
everywhere.
Man.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of the drunken stories. I'm sure we could, I feel like Robbie and I could probably go back and forth for many, many, epic stories. But
big fan.
Before we get into the episode, I do want to read off one of the reviews. We got a few of them on iTunes to catch up on, but we're only 4 away from 100. So if you're listening right now and you could head over to iTunes and drop us a review, it would be super dope for us to get to 100 reviews. I think it's amazing that we've got as many people listening to this as we do. But it would be really dope to see that 100 mark. And but the review that I wanted to read is from H3LGAN123. I'm guessing that's like hooligan 123. Says Bay Area Love, such a dope and informative podcast. The guys have knowledge that is absolutely crucial to the sneaker game. Please keep up the good work, guys, and keep on keeping on. Nick, please keep repping the Bay Area. I live in Pinole, and it's always nice to know someone from my area is high up there in the sneaker community. Go Giants. Yay. Yo, nice. Definitely appreciate that. Wearing my Giants hat as I do every single day, or at least 99% of the time. I'm definitely missing baseball right now, but I don't want to get too emotional on everybody yet. We got some emotional stuff to talk about. So thanks to Hooligan123 for the review. We definitely appreciate you taking the time to leave us a review and tuning into the podcast. And, we'll just keep it coming. Hopefully we can keep you guys entertained while we're all kind of spending some more quality time by ourselves and indoors.
Yeah, man.
So the day that we're recording this is actually, I would say the original Mamba Day, right?
Yeah. No, I think the original was 8/24.
So I guess it depends on who you ask, right? Yeah. Because Kobe is one of those guys who's, as Robbie would put it, GOAT, would be one of the only people that could have really 3 days, right? Because his birthday is like the 23rd of August. Yeah. So you basically have back-to-back Kobe days in summer, or Mamba days in summer. And this particular April date was the day that he, played his last game, put up 60. And Nike kind of proclaimed it as Mamba Day. Actually, I think even the year before that, right? Or was it that year?
It was the year itself.
Okay, yeah. Year itself. So we figured we go through and kind of just reminisce on a handful of, I guess, our best Kobe moments. And I'm going to toss it to Robbie to start us off, since he's the resident Kobe. I don't know what would you call yourself?
Man, I don't know, because like I go back and forth with the fandom inside of myself. That's a lot of selves. But like, do I like Kobe more than other people? Do I need to like distinguish a particular level of how much I like him, or do I need to compare my experiences with or about him to other people? It's a really complexing thing. But for me, I don't know. He's the greatest Laker of all time. I think him and Magic are like a toss-up. You really can't go wrong with that answer. They're both the proverbial mayors of Los Angeles. So he's just like the Mamba Day shoes. I have a pair from his last game, and on the inside of the tongue, I wrote LA GOAT. And that's really what he is to me. Like community, And we'll go into more detail as to why I think he's the GOAT. But I would say like the LA GOAT. He's like the greatest thing out of LA or to happen to LA since I can't think of a Dodger or a King or a football player who has or a Clipper, for God's sake, who has more impact on Los Angeles than him.
There was so much hate in that statement.
Yeah, that's a fair analogy or a fair description, though. I mean, I think, you know, in hindsight, obviously we can see how much people appreciated Kobe. But I think, you know, for me too, like being like I the first Lakers game that I saw was actually at the Forum. There was no Kobe. It was Magic. And, you know, I'm lucky to have gotten to go to, you know, both see kind of really like 3 generations of Lakers players, even though I'm not a Lakers fan. You know, like I have like a crazy mutual respect for the competition, especially when you have like, you know, true, I would say like mortal enemies, right? Like being a Kings fan, you know, you'd rather play the Lakers because there's so much passion behind both the teams. You know, maybe not right now with the Kings struggling to get back to like quality basketball, but yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about how important Kobe is and has been for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, him and Shaq built Staples Center. You know, the Mamba Academy exists still. It might not have people in it now, but that's going to be a house of basketball for a long time. You know, just the various levels. I mean, every player with accolades has had a moment with him, either personal, on a phone call. Kobe was just always trying to spread, you know, what he knows to the next generation. And I think that's what made him so great. Is that like, yeah, he's the hardest dude on the court when you're his teammate, but you know, he wants everybody to be better for their sake and his when it's championship time. But and that segues into the first kind of Mamba moment. The first three-peat with Shaq. Like I said, he and O'Neal, you know, built Staples Center. You know, they would have eventually gone out of the Forum anyway. But, you know, without that duo, I don't think he would have had nearly the amount of fun in the post-Jordan era. There was that black hole for a couple years. Like, yeah, Hakeem's great. Yeah, you know, Barkley's cool. But, you know, Shaq and Kobe really galvanized the city and brought viewership and eyes full center into the NBA. So the first three-peat, you know, he always – by like Kobe haters or Laker hate naysayers, whatever boat you're in, they want to say that those were Shaq's teams. Those were Shaq's championships. Shaq's the finals MVP, which he was. But every year, you know, you don't get there without Kobe Bryant being on the roster, much like Michael Jordan doesn't get there without Scottie Pippen. But unlike Pip, whom he crossed over pretty damn bad in that Portland series in 2001, I believe, he put up 29 points against the Sixers, well, in the playoffs in general. So the NBA playoffs from 2000 to 2001, 29 points. The year before in the first championship season, 21 points. And then to finish off the three-peat, averaging 26. So, I mean, that's with him also putting up 6 and 4 assists, respectively. So he was passing the ball. But that's really when Kobe went from the dunk contest guy and the dude from Moesha to a bona fide, you know, megastar, right? Like there's superstars, there's all-stars, but few a generation reach this like true, like unparalleled fandom. And yeah, the first three-peat, that's my first Mamba moment. All 3 of them. Kobe.
Nice. I mean, you can't really. I mean, that's kind of hard to come back from to combat that. I mean, that's just a solid moment. I mean, three-peats are already hard enough as it is, and then to know what he did for the franchise itself, just a heck of a moment. my first moment is actually kind of three combined. So in 2003, whenever Kobe was at sneaker free agency, so he was wearing a lot of Jordan PEs, and he had 3 50-point games. I want to say they were back to back to back. I could be wrong, so it's someone out there, Robbie, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. But he had a 51-point game against Denver wearing the Jordan 7 away Laker PEs, a 52-point game against my Houston Rockets, which very weird. I'm a Kobe fan. He always torched my team. But anyway, he had the Jordan 3 Laker PE, in which everyone really fiends over. That's one of the PEs that everyone would love to see release or get their hands on. And then the 55-point game against Michael Jordan himself with the Wizards, where he wore the Jordan 8 PEs. So, I mean, not only did he score 50 points in 3 consecutive games, but he wore absolute fire on his feet while he did it. And he wore the man's shoes who he idolized that entire time. So, I mean, you can't really beat that.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Mike, I can totally relate to him scorching my team basically my entire adult life.
Yeah.
I can't so Kobe, that season of him wearing all those different shoes, man, there's so much good stuff, and I'm sure we'll get into more of it, but I can't think of another Jordan 3 or the 7 or the 8 really, but for me the 3 being the kind of iconic shoe for Michael, right? I can't imagine of a more desirable shoe as if you're a Kobe fan and knowing he was such a fan of MJ, and is kind of off topic, but I always kind of think back to those early years when he was with Adidas, and he wore he was wearing pro models, but he's wearing the Jordan jersey, right, in the locker room.
Yeah,
and I mean, I just think, man, it's just crazy. There's just so many good moments from Kobe.
And that's after he forced his way out of Adidas. I mean, I meant to bring up now for the championships, he wore the Kobe for the first 2, and then the Kobe 2 for the third three-peat. But just to go from those super, dare I say, aerodynamic, whatever you want to call those first 2 Kobes, I guess, well, not the first 2, there's the Crazy 8, whatever, but whatever you want to call those shoes, to be able to break that contract and wear the shoes of your childhood, or, obviously the guy you idolized and stole your moves from, that must have just been an amazing feeling. I can't even imagine what that felt like. I wasn't, because I'm sure other people and listeners alike have heard, if not seen, the third Kobe that did not get made. Or was it the 4th? I think it was the Kobe 4. They made 3.
Okay. I can't remember, honestly. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm going to the top of my head. It was a prototype, but he's like, nah, I can't rock that shoe. And then we got that beautiful sneaker history free agency. It's just a great time. Speaking to that defiance, this doesn't really have a particular game to it or a particular moment, but I think there's nothing more fun to bring up on Mamba Day than all the times Kobe Bryant would purposely not shoot and only pass after games where people called him a black hole or a shooting hog. He just wouldn't freaking shoot. He would just pass, rebound, dribble, and sometimes obnoxiously to the point where he's not even trying to facilitate anything. He's just proving a point that he needs to score. But there was more than one occasion. I want to say 4 or 5 where Kobe's all right, media. All right, Phil, I shoot too much. I'm not going to shoot any of the first half, and let's see how we do. That's the bullheadedness, which you either love it or hate it. You can probably guess what side of the fence I'm on with that.
I think sometimes you got to have that, right? I was actually just talking to some friends about like Elon Musk and Tesla, right? And we might have even talked about it before, but you know, sometimes that like we're in this weird spot where we expect people who are focused, determined, and, you know, maybe bullheaded, maybe stubborn, but we expect them to also like give time to be personable and nice to people and all of those things. And sometimes you don't realize that you'd rather just have them be like so focused, because that's what makes them great. You know, like imagine if Kobe like took time to be like the super nice guy the way some other athletes are. It takes away from his ability to like be committed to basketball, be committed to his family, blah, blah, blah. So that's always an interesting thing. And I think like, you know, I assume that stubbornness, bullheadedness, that like kind of like, you know, I don't know if it's not like aggression, but like just like determination and focus is something that probably just carries over between, you know, from like him looking at MJ and learning how MJ was, right? So that's how you become the best in the world, is by not giving a fuck about anything, but focusing on becoming the best in the world.
Because there's times to be nice. So, I mean, there's a million stories, we've all heard them now, of, you know, Kobe's charitable acts and this, how personal he was when it wasn't game time. Just he didn't ever compromise the dedication or compromise the focus. You're his mortal enemy. You could be Chris Rock cracking jokes right behind him, and he's not even going to bat an eye, because that's who he is. He's in the game. And if he wanted to be sweeter and not bite his jersey, tough shit. That's not who he is. So, good point.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I liked about Kobe, is that he was very much able to compartmentalize his personality. So you'll see in All-Star games and stuff, even though he's still like hyper competitive in those games, you'll see he's joking with other players. Like, he's definitely friendly with them. But when he gets back to regular season time, regular games, playoffs, finals, whatever it is, he will punch you in the face and walk over your bleeding body to get to where he needs to go. And I always respected that, because he's like, it's like anyone doing a job. He's like, I'm going to do my job to the best of my abilities. I'll be the best as I can be, but I'm not going to compromise that for for friendship. And not in a bad way. It's like, I'll be your friend afterwards, but for these, 40 minutes, I can't. I'm going to even be pissed at my own teammates for not doing the right thing. So I can't be your friend if I'm trying to beat you. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that whole iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
Very much is. And so, I mean, he spent his entire career, sharpening his skills. Like, we all know the air balls versus Utah in the playoffs. Kobe wasn't perfect coming into the league, came off the bench. Like, he paid his dues. And by 2007, this is my next Mamba moment, kind of in relation to what Mike was saying about, his insane scoring. So 2007, 4 50-point games in a row. Only Wilt and MJ had 3 in a row. I believe Kobe's the only guy with 4 50-point games in a row. Maybe James Harden's broken that sense. But 65 versus the Blazers. The next game, 50 up against the Wolves, 60 against the Grizzlies, and then 50 on the Hornets. Which, if you're a real Laker fan, you know how much Kobe played exceptionally well against the Hornets and or Bobcats. Like, those were always really good games when the Bobcats were like the crappiest of crap teams. They'd always be really good. But 4 games in a row, 65, 50, 60, 50. We're in the Kobe 2. Strong. The Kobe 2 strong, with the beautiful free run tooling that really gave him the ability to throw the ball off the backboard and catch it, all the spin move pivots, all the beautiful footwork that made him unguardable. I think the Kobe 2, for as ugly as it might be, really fit his game nearly better than any other shoe. No one ever talked about the Kobe 2. But when you watch those games and you think about the shoe aspect and you think about him and his play style, it's just like, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. and seeing him torch all those teams were beautiful. Because it wasn't like a Steph Curry torching where it's like 14 for 30 3-pointers. I mean, he's not that bad, like 14 for 20 3-pointers. But, Kobe just shook you and baked you from all three levels over and over again, inviting double teams. I mean, only him and D-Wade, I think, were better. Like, they're the best at ever splitting double teams as guards. Michael Jordan's fantastic. He passed it up, though. And sometimes he'd go all the way to the rack. But, like, D-Wade and Kobe were just – when you bring a double team on him, it doesn't matter. He's just going to slice through it some way. So, yeah, 4 50-point games or more in a row. 07.
Dude, the Kobe 2 that they came out with in the Prelude pack might be one of the most beautiful shoes ever. Just kind of when people say I know it doesn't have the most aesthetically pleasing design, but if you go look at that particular colorway, it's probably one of the most well executed shoes I've seen.
Agreed.
So my next moment actually kind of deals with scoring as well. I'm going to take it a year back. So, Robbie, you were talking about 2007. I'm going to go to the most well-known scoring performance, and that is in 2006 when, basically Kobe put Jalen Rose into NBA history by scoring 81 points on him. He beat down Toronto. I think it had to be about a week or so ago where I sat and watched just the chopped up version of the game, and man, he just you said it. He did it from every level. It wasn't just I'm gonna pop 3-pointers. He got you from under the basket, above the rim, mid range, like anything he wanted, he got, and he didn't shy away from double teams. It was just a remarkable performance. I mean, he's only been bested by a 100-point performance, which I don't think we're ever going to see anytime soon. But I don't know, man. In the Kobe 1, I'm really sad because I had this shoe not too long ago, but I had kind of a funky version. The midsole was splitting, like the glue wasn't glued well, so I had to return them. But they were just my luck; they're already sold out, so I couldn't get another pair, and probably won't be getting another pair anytime soon. So, kind of sucks. A bittersweet moment for me just because of that.
I am happy.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please go.
I was going to say, do you think that Kobe intentionally beat people like strategically, because like you said, the beauty of him like just destroying somebody is that it was every aspect of the game, right?
Yeah.
Personally, I think that was like the point, right? It was like he could beat you in any way, and he was just going to show you that he could beat you in any and every way throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, he wanted to break your spirit. He wanted to let you know I'm the best thing on this court, and you have no chance. He like, if you can do that to someone where you can pretty much tell them that you're unstoppable, they're gonna either give up and you're just gonna do whatever you want, or they're gonna start making mistakes because they're trying too hard. So I think it was a mind game, and he was the best at it, I think.
Yeah, man, you have to impose your will, and Kobe understood that better than a lot of other people. I'm super happy to say I'm an owner of those Kobe 1 81-point games now, so that's dope. I remember that so clearly. So I was watching it, Fox Sports West, when Fox Sports West was a thing, watching it upstairs, and I just kept running downstairs. I don't know why I didn't watch it with my stepdad, but I watched it upstairs in my own room, and I just kept running up and down the stairs like, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, I probably missed it. Going back and forth, just like losing my mind. But yeah, that's probably the defining moment of his career. What everybody always brings up Wilt's 100. That's Kobe's 81 is like that same level. Just because 100 doesn't make sense, so 81 is actually kind of digestible. This really isn't a Mamba moment. But just you have to stop and appreciate the shoes. Go look through all the hashtags. Look at Sneaker History's feed. Just Kobe Bryant is so important to basketball shoes and performance footwear as a whole that, I got to bring that up. This is a shoe podcast, but obviously shoes are important and his shoes were cool, but just how he changed, like how he was daring enough to wear the Kobe 1 and Kobe 2 by Adidas, having, the cutout Achilles area on the Zoom Kobe 1, the low cut of the 4, the free motion of the 2, the flying it of the 9. You can just like go on, but just like Kobe and really kept things alive until really LeBron got fully going between like the Vince Carter time. There's the Vince Carter era, Penny Hardaway before that, and Kobe kind of kept things moving while LeBron seasoned. So random Mamba moment, but I think it's an important thing to bring up.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even add more points to what you say. They're like, anytime you talk about Kobe, I feel like we should just let you have the whole show.
Yeah. I'll a couple more then. Let's wrap it up here. So the puppets, while we're talking about shoes and LeBron, we were always teased with the LeBron-Kobe finals matchup. And Dwight Howard, his entire career, found ways to mess things up one way or another. So thanks, Dwight.
Dang.
I'm just kidding. I've never fault the guy for making the finals. It's not his fault he was trying that year.
This is where we need to get the edit with the shots fired.
Yeah. Cowboy pistol sounds. 2009 is when they had the first LeBron Kobe puppets commercial. They brought it back every now and again. They finalized it in 2016 with his retirement and a couple different funny commercials where he's kind of just poking at LeBron like, hey, I got 2 jerseys retired. Like, hey, I don't know if number 8 was better, number 24 was better. Just like really kind of taking jabs. And what's really fun about LeBron and Kobe, and LeBron shared his feelings about how close they were, but it really did feel like big brother, little brother, but with all the respective peers. And I think that was really important. Like Kobe never, unless he was in a game and you were pissing him off, he never tried to sun people. Like he respected everybody as men, unless you were like Smush Parker. There's asterisks out there, but for the most part, the admiration between LeBron and Kobe, and seeing the puppets and how they're kind of messing with each other. Try not to get emotional too, so that's why I kind of stopped for a second. But it's like those are just really fun. I think everybody likes the puppet commercials, right?
Yeah, dude. Like Kobe commercials are always solid. For him being such a serious guy on the court, his commercials were always like fun or just like epic. But I think that kind of speaks to what he was doing in his, his post basketball career. This is vision for those things. I mean, one of my favorite moments is the Kobe 7 system commercial with you had all like the athletes. You had Serena, I think you had P-Rod, but the Kanye commercial is my favorite. It hands down, still to this day, it holds up even better with Kanye being even crazier than he was then. Yeah, that was just, I think, a timeless one.
The Aston Martin one. Listeners, how many of you thought the Aston Martin video was real?
Dude, I did.
I did
100% thought it was real.
That's why it was just so much fun. The snake pool with Jackass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just other ways. And I mean, Kobe was going through a rebranding of his image after the Denver stuff and the jersey switch. So, I mean, like we said, he's not going to compromise his on-court intensity. So you got to make him funny off court. You got to make him likable off the court. And he really was. I guess kind of the last point here to bring up, kind of the reason why we're all talking, is that 60-point. What do you want to call the 60-point? Is it called the 60-point game, the Swan Song? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, like that's a great question. Like, what would you call Kobe Bryant's last game? Because it was like like quintessential Kobe moment, right?
Yeah,
and perfect in so many ways.
Yeah.
So you had that was at the right in the middle of the Lakers suckage. Once the Dwight Howard, Steve Nash experiment failed. So there wasn't a lot to look forward to for a couple years. And that night, anybody and everybody associated with the Lakers was at that game. It was like a real like senior night, so to speak, if you want to like make a high school equivalent to it. But just the box score is hilarious. So I mean, like, we all know how many shots Kobe had to take to get to that 60 points. Field goal percentage of 44%, 50 shots to get 60. But here's where it starts getting really fun. So the other starters, D'Angelo Russell with 9 points, Jordan Clarkson with 12, Julius Randle with 2, Roy Hibbert 4, and then you had that's just about it. So Larry Nance gave up 8 off the bench, but then you had 2 and 4 by Huentas and Tariq Black. So 6 points. 14 points off the bench. And you got less than 30 from your other starters. But then Kobe gave you 60 and a block and a steal with old ladies. What's up? Like, I will forever get combative when someone's like, oh, he took 50 shots. Well, screw you.
No one else could have done it. And no one else on that team could have scored like with an open lane.
Exactly. Yeah. When you see who he's playing with, it's your last game. You think Julius Randle's going to get more than 4 shots? No. So it's
that's like another great question, though. What if Roy Hibbert takes 50 shots? How many, what is he finishes the game with 12 points?
Yeah, right.
It's like possible. No.
It's just like no other player. I mean, everybody thinks about going out on top, like, the John Elway ending of your career. You win the championship and you walk away. The Peyton Manning too. But Kobe with that team was not getting that, and everybody knew it. So this was the last hurrah, and it's just, I can't rewatch the game yet. I haven't rewatched it since his passing, but goddamn, that game is fun. I mean, everybody is just electric. You can see how tired he is. Yeah, man, that's like probably the last game any professional athlete will ever have. Like, how can somebody top that? You can't. Personality, legacy. You can't do it. It's untoppable.
That's like how Shaq was on the floor, just basically yelling, "Hey, get 30. All right, get 40. I bet you won't get 60."
See, and do that. Shaq's last points were, I think, with the Celtics. Like, no one gives a shit about that. Like, I mean, just like it's true. Charles Barkley ended with, the Rockets, old and tattered. Like, it is what it is. Like, nobody really gets a farewell like that or got a farewell like that, and he made it happen. Like, nobody said, "Hey, Kobe, here's the lane." They were still playing a game. It was close. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I want to add on to that, but I want to jump back a little bit to the commercials. And I actually think that like the early Adidas Kobe commercials are some of Adidas' best commercials.
Oh,
like the one-on-one in the gym with the kid, and the kid's like tackling him, playing at Venice Beach in the rain with like all the guys like hunched under the umbrella. And the one that he's playing like I don't even remember what it was, some sort of like crazy alien creature thing. I mean, like, I can't think of like a player thinking about like Kobe being so young at that time, right? What is he, 19, 20 years old? And the commercials that were put out were like something you would see for, a 5-7 year veteran in the league that's already established himself, in my opinion, like the quality of those commercials. But
the big dunk when it's like black and white and it's multiple takes of him just like, it's edited. But yeah.
Yeah. But I want to also back to, fast forward back to where we were at. One of the things that, talking about his kind of last game, his legacy, the fact that he basically, for lack of a better way of putting it, lived like the perfect sports career, like bookend to bookend, like went out on top. I was talking to my friend David Tripler, who is a filmmaker here in Los Angeles, and he is like a crazy Kobe fan as well, like big Lakers fan, and we were talking about this a few weeks ago, where it's interesting that Kobe, it's almost like Kobe, like had an advantage in that he didn't have a reason to stay on the court, right? Like, thinking of like MJ, right? Like MJ, was invested in the Wizards, right? So, he, even though he's probably playing at a lower level, he still feels like he's contributing enough to make sense for the bigger part of the business, or bigger picture of the business. And then you look at LeBron, right? Like, I don't think LeBron could even repeat the Kobe kind of farewell game, because if I'm LeBron, I'm sticking around to try to play with my kid when Bronny's in the league, 4 years from now or 5 years from now, whatever that looks like. So it's almost kind of like even more poetic. And if you think about those kind of things where, like obviously Kobe wasn't playing, to the, the highest level of his abilities, but for his age and for his career to go out and like have that big game at the end of his career, to just say like, I'm going out at like probably the highest level any basketball player has ever stepped away from the game, other than like MJ's early retirements, right? Because nobody else is ever going to have that. Like you said, Shaq is a great example. Most players like hit the end of their career and they just hop on a squad. They think they might be able to grab an extra ring, right? Like, I mean, Mitch Richmond of the Kings did that. Gary Payton, like, Karl Malone, all these guys signed with the Lakers hoping they could get one ring as they, hung up the jersey for the last time. And to me, I just think that's it's so poignant and so perfect for Kobe's story, because he even at the Lakers, arguably the Lakers' lowest point, he was still playing to, as potentially the best player in the league at that moment.
That's a great point. And it's like, I'm happy you brought up how he was just like loved. Like he never really went through a hate period. The closest he got was when Shaq left, because it really did come down to Shaq or Kobe. Like you weren't going to pay old Shaq that much of a max deal. So a lot of people were divided because Shaq was so loved too. I mean, like, I sound like I didn't like Shaq. I love Shaquille O'Neal tenderly. Like I love Shaquille O'Neal. It's just like that was the closest point. And when he was fed up with all the losing and he might have gone to the Clippers, he would have still been in LA. So that would not have messed with his like LA legacy. But from start to finish, Dirk, Tim Duncan, Magic, Larry Bird, like this, they are those teams. And it's just, it was really great. That's all I got. It was really great, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's very few players that, we live in a different time too, where players aren't going to stick with a team the way they used to. Although I still think that, if you're a player that, if you're a player that can stay in their kind of, hometown, I know like Kobe wasn't born in LA, but like, someone like LeBron, and I don't fault LeBron for leaving Cleveland. Like, would have left Cleveland long before he did. But it's kind of interesting to think about that, because sticking with the team, helps with the legacy so much. And, like personally, I was actually just talking to my brother about this. So I have 2 nephews that live up in the North Bay, and, big like Kings fans. And, my nephew, basically, when the Kings, got rid of DeMarcus Cousins, and my brother told him, he just started bawling. He just started crying, because, that's all he knew was like DeMarcus Cousins being the face of the Kings for those, 2-3 years. And it's unfortunate, because you are able to, establish such a relationship with such an entire generation as an athlete, if you're able to stay with an organization for longer periods of time. And, I don't, like, obviously we're talking about sneakers, we're talking about Kobe, but like, even that piece of his legacy is so important, in my opinion, right? Like I can't knock anybody's decisions, because everybody knows what's best for them. But I even look at like Michael Jordan going to the Wizards and thinking like, yeah, you didn't really need to do that. Like I understand why you did it, but like the value of what you contributed to the game, as much as like I love those last few years, because you got to see those Kobe and Jordan matchups, and like, we are constantly sharing the pictures of those moments, right? But MJ with the Bulls is forever the memory for anybody that grew up as a youngster in that era, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I think like, let's just put it out there for everybody that's listening. We'd love to hear your Kobe Bryant moments. Like, what's your favorite commercial? What's your favorite moment? Like, what are the stories that we're missing that we haven't heard? Because I think, it's equally as important in the time where we're all going through some challenging times, to have these role models and these, heroes, superheroes. And, so if you got a story about Kobe, definitely let us know. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever is easiest to reach out to us. We'd love to hear it. But we appreciate all of you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go like all those Kobe posts I put up today on Sneaker History. I cried during like 5 out of the 8 of them. So it would mean a lot to me if you did.
Yeah, definitely. Robbie did put up some great posts today. And definitely kicked some memories back into my head for some of that stuff too. And actually, shameless plug, but like, I've met these guys like once in passing, but the Hoopery down in San Diego is a bunch of guys that are really big Kobe fans. They made some really dope merch. If you get a chance, definitely check them out, because they've got some really dope Kobe merch for people that are fans of Kobe. But anyway, thanks to everybody for listening and rocking with us. As we said earlier, if you got a chance, give us a review on iTunes. We're almost to that 100 mark. I would be really appreciative of that. And if you're really into the podcast, definitely consider supporting us on Patreon. Going through these times is definitely going to be super, super helpful to have everybody's contributions there. And I'm so thankful that everybody does that, because honestly, like it's really like a keep the lights on kind of a thing for me right now. So I appreciate everybody listening. As always, my name is Nick Engvall. You can follow me at Nick Engvall on all platforms. More importantly, follow Sneaker History. And one more thing before I hand it off to the guys. I saw a news story today about 2 people being arrested for killing somebody over some Yeezys. I just want to say that it's not worth it. Like, any kind of argument, frustration, sneakers, it's just sneakers. Like, we love these things. We love telling these stories and talking about them, but never forget that like these physical things, the sneakers on your feet, mean nothing without the people on the other side that connect you with those stories. So that's the end of my rant, but I hope everybody has a safe one. And guys, let them know how they can find you online.
Yeah. Mike Guillory. You can find me on Sneaker History, Instagram and Twitter at MadWatcher789, and then again at Mike Guillory on YouTube. Robbie, where you at, sir?
Yeah, you can find me watching movies with the Sneaker History people on Friday nights. Everybody should come join us. It's a lot of fun. I talk too much during the movies, so if you like extra commentary for no reason, come join us. Shout out to everybody who has been joining us. Yeah, you can find me at Sneaker History. Go enjoy some Mamba Day posts. There's more coming. It's only 8:30 at night as we record.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
See you.
Yeah, bye.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, I wanted to ask a couple favors of you. If you're interested in more content from the Sneaker History crew, become a member of our Patreon page where we post daily content, drop exclusive episodes, and host monthly giveaways. We'll even help you hunt for your grails. Check us out at patreon.com/sneakerhistory. Also, make sure you sign up for our email newsletter at sneakerhistory.com/email. We send out weekly updates on the footwear business and what we're working on here at Sneaker History. Last but not least, take a second to tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how much it means to someone, and it might even plant the seeds for something even bigger. As always, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.